Hello, and welcome to Cocktails with a Twist of History, your digital destination for all things cocktails. So, today I would like to talk about a cocktail that you might not have heard of, but it does span a lot of generations of bartenders. It's called a casino. Now, this casino was featured in our friend Hugo Ensign, the one we spoke about recently, but he actually might have borrowed it from a book from 1909. And the title of that book is, get this, The Reminder, Up-to-Date Bartender's Vest Pocket Guide by a guy named Jacob A. Dieter. Early bartenders used to wear a vest, and those vests had a pocket, and this was a pocket guide that you could put into that pocket to remind you of various drinks. It's very nice, but it doesn't have a lot of the history or the context of the drink, so there's certain things that we don't know about it. For example, a casino was not necessarily a place where we went to go gamble. A casino just meant the house, and a brothel was also called a casino. So this drink could have come from a brothel, and believe it or not, they sold cocktails in a brothel as well. So the casino uses something called Old Tom Gin. Now, Old Tom Gin predates the London Dry Gin, which is what most people are familiar with, but I happen to have a bottle of Old Tom Gin. So, of course, we're not surprised. It's said that they called it Old Tom Gin because in 1751, in London, they had to create a law that limited the small-scale production of gin because there were so many people that were making gin and drinking it that most of the city was just drunk on the streets. And so they wanted to curb that production. There was this thing called the gin craze, that's what they called it. And all that did was make people hide it better. I guess they should have learned from Prohibition, although this happened way before, which means Prohibition should have learned from them, either way. But what they would do is they would take a statue of a cat and they would put it on the front of their house. You would put a coin into the cat, and then out from the mouth would come gin, usually from a lead pipe. Sounds really good. But that was how they did it. The cat is called a Tom, and hence they called it Old Tom Gin. Okay, I have been talking way too long without a drink in my hand. Let's make a casino the way that Jacob A. Dieter would have made it in 1909. So, he actually says that you should stir this cocktail. I don't think so. We are going to shake this. We are going to need 2 ounces of our our Old Tom Gin. I am going to use a full 2 ounces on this. Hold on 1 second. Here we go. 2 ounces. It's got an interesting top on this bottle, which is a little hard to open, but I opened it before, so you wouldn't have to wait for it. And we are going to put it in here. And there we go. We have 2 ounces. We are going to need a ½ ounce of freshly squeezed lemon. I put a full ounce in there. I'm going to use half of that. Okay, we're also going to need a ½ ounce of maraschino liqueur. We've actually been using this a lot lately. I just opened this bottle because I used up the other one. We've been using a lot of it, but it's good. This was the cherry light. It's a light cherry liqueur. And here we go. Let's put that in there. And now we are going to need 2 dashes of orange bitters. So we said that bitters is kind of like a concentrate. You only need a very small amount, kind of like an extract. So we are going to need 2 dashes. 1, 2. And there we go. We are going to put our ice in there. By the way, I've heard some people say that they use orange juice in here as well. I don't think it needs it, so I'm going to skip the orange juice. Here we go. Hold on. We've got my ice over here, and like we always say, make sure to use a lot of ice You really don't want to put in just a little bit into your shaker. You want a lot. So we're going to put in a lot of ice. Here we go, one more piece. Oh, got away from me. That one also got away from me. Here we go. Put our ice in. Put our cover on. Here we go. Put the cover on. This. And we are going to shake. Again, always remember, you want to hold it. It's really bad to splash your guests when you're shaking and it all comes out. There we go. Gave it a really nice shake. It does need. I'm going to be using our larger glass over here. Probably could use a small glass, a smaller coupe glass, but we're going to use this. And let's take a quick peek here. That is really, looks like a nice cocktail. There we go. For a garnish, I'm actually going to use a little bit of the lime peel. Could have used the lemon, could have used lime. Cheers. Oh my, that is really good. That is a nice cocktail. The Old Tom Gin really is nice. It has such a nice flavor, interesting character. The cherry comes forward, the lemon is forward. It's a beautiful cocktail. A very, very nice cocktail. Okay, so Old Tom Gin, we said, is an older style than the London Dry that we know about. It has a much fuller body, richer mouthfeel. It is aged, usually some, and not for too long, but it does have some aging. And sometimes people put sweetener in it. This company does not. This company is actually interesting. This is called Ransom, and they say that they use some malted barley to begin with, and that gives it also this interesting malted flavor. It is very nice. Other cocktails that use Old Tom Gin are Martinez Gin Fizz, Tom Collins, where we've spoken about the Martinez when we spoke about the Martini, but we're going to get to the Ramos Gin Fizz and the Tom Collins one day, soon, hopefully. And of course, the Casino, which is what we just made. As for Jacob A. Dider and his book, The Reminder Up-to-Date Bartender's Vest Pocket Guide, well, he's another bartender whose name would have been lost to time, except for we at Cocktails with a Twist of History want to bring you the history around the cocktails, or at least the entertaining ones. And that's how we're going to remember them. Anyway, if you've heard other stories or know other information, we want to hear it. Please put it in the comments, email it to us, or tell it to the bottle. We want to know. Also, please, we really need you to subscribe. We need you to follow. We need you to send it to friends and have them follow and subscribe. Put things in the comments, like, so that we know that you're out there. Thank you from Cocktails with a Twist of History.